My story with Cyberpunk started in 2021 through an unconventional way. Instead of getting my start playing the game, I actually stumbled upon one of the songs from the game, The Rebel Path, or Johnny Silverhand's theme. That theme blew me away. The industrial sounds, melody, mid-tempo genre, and futuristic vibe, it had me hooked. I told myself that one day I would play Cyberpunk to experience this song, but that day didn't arrive until over a year later in 2022. September 2022 to be more exact. With the hype and glowing reviews surrounding the recent anime adaptation Cyberpunk Edgerunners, I decided to give it a watch. After finishing the first episode, I got up, turned on my PlayStation 4, bought Cyberpunk 2077, which was on sale, downloaded it, and went back to watch the rest of Edgerunners. There was just something that really had me hooked. The storytelling was amazing, and so too are the characters that led to some really spectacular and heartbreaking moments. But what really made me fall in love with the show, and later on in the game, was the world. The setting of Night City. I think I've gone on record at least once saying that Night City is the best open world, and I still stand firm in that belief. With the release of Cyberpunk 2077's expansion, Phantom Liberty, dropping today, I wanted to make a video about Cyberpunk, specifically about Night City, because this game means a lot to me, not just because of the game, but at the time when I played it. Night City was a world that I got immersed in quickly and helped me through, well, let's say a different phase of life. So for this video, I will be discussing both the events of Cyberpunk 2077 and Edgerunners, so spoilers might eventually show up, but without further ado, chums, let me take you through a deep dive into Night City, because it's going to be pretty noble. Although it might be the darkest way possible to start off this video, I think I'll start off with one of the hearts of Night City, which is the crime life in Night City. Crime and the struggles thereafter are a core element in what makes Night City what it is. Edgerunners made it very abundant with drive-by shootings and even low-key crimes like Lucy stealing people's shards. And in the game, where I really have to shout out the recent 2.0 update, crime is everywhere. You turn a corner, there might be some gang members trying to beat someone up, road rage, a shootout with the cops, and even shootouts that are out of your sight that you can only hear. Crime plagues the city, all the way from Santo Domingo to the Arasaka waterfront and beyond. It's a cruel world because there aren't just low-level thugs doing the crimes around here, it spreads all the way to the higher-ups of the city, the megacorps. It's because of them that crimes become so prevalent. They start a chain reaction of crime, as it's because of their actions of greed and need for power that affect the lower classes of the society. Even higher classes in Night City have issues. The tutorial mission in Cyberpunk 2077, rescuing the missing person Sandra Corsa, who is unconscious and almost flatlines in a tub filled with ice. It's a horrendous scene to look at, and a subtle detail that adds on to this is her medical insurance, where Trauma Team calls in saying that 90% of the medical costs will be covered by her Platinum package, the highest form of insurance. It's a very subtle detail, but it stuck with me, showing that no one really is safe in Night City. This in turn doesn't just encourage the people to live day by day, but from moment to moment. There is a lack of trust between people thanks to this culture of conning, manipulation, and hierarchy to gain advantage. Although you might see people who seem to be friends and get along well with one another, it's an illusion. You stick with people who are strong so that you have a higher chance of surviving. The amount of gangs spread across Night City shows this, and even V, the main character of the main game, has lots of moments where you just have to choose who to trust and side with, because you never really know whose intentions aren't just either good or bad, but which might be better of the lesser evils. And speaking of moment-to-moment lifestyle, David Martinez in Edgerunners, a gang shooting kills his mom, he gets beaten up at school and kicked out of his apartment for rent issues, which then pushes him to the only known way to survive in Night City, by resorting to crime. It's a vicious cycle that consumes anyone, keeps you in Night City, where you either die trying or live long enough to become the villain. But on the brighter side, Night City does have some of the most beautiful views you can imagine. Many times when I would be driving around doing gigs in Watson or down in Santo Domingo, I would always bring the camera around the car to soak in the views of Night City. The city is really stunning. I have never used the fast travel in Cyberpunk because driving around, listening to the radio stations in the game, just looking around day and night was calming. The bright neon lights, disturbing advertisement, and the sounds of the world. There's just some special magic here that makes it feel so lived in like no other world. But the reason why these moments stand out, I feel, is not just because you're taking in the city alone. There's always some accompanying factor to it, be it the music whilst driving a car, or the great views when you share it with someone. One of my favorite moments in Cyberpunk 2077 was the flashback mission where you play as Johnny Silverhand in Act 1, taking the chopper, smoking cigarettes, and staring down upon the rainy night city with your team, ready to pull off a plan that will go down in history. Was epic. Despite rain typically creating a mood of nostalgia or sadness, this view from above the skyline felt magical. The whole sequence thereafter, the actual raid, was, sure, amazing to say the least, but even though there isn't much to see from the chopper, it creates this amazing feeling. And if we have to talk about stunning moments, David and Lucy's first kiss in Night City in Edgerunners. The build up to it, again the flashing neon signs across the buildings, but just seeing Lucy and David perched on top of a building alone means something. Even though Night City might be this crime haven that poses a danger to anyone there, there is still someone and some place where you can find refuge from it all. And the symbolism here is also neat, as before they actually kiss, we see Night City, and once they do get to doing the kiss, we see the moon, Lucy's dream to one day visit, showing how these moments can take you away from the pains and horrors of the city, albeit for just a moment, because even when you do come back down, you've still got people that care for you in some shape or form. But the moment when you go back to Night City shows how life starts and ends here. Lucy had her dreams, but they were only dreams, and that's the same with the first ending I got in my first playthrough. V and Panam had a dream of leaving Night City together, and that's the path I chose. We raided Arasaka Tower, took down Adam Smasher, and escaped. But the further we got away from Night City, I realized something. The world became emptier and emptier. As we made it past the boundaries of Night City, it hit me. Once you are in Night City, you are bound to stay here. There is no real hope or life outside there, not designed for the Night City residents. The ending was bittersweet in a sense because I had escaped, but now I'm going forward that V will die from the construct, so would it have been better to stay behind and die a legend? And that's the theme that is brought up a lot throughout the universe, to become a legend of Night City. That's the dream that so many Night City residents have, to become a legend of the afterlife, a club of mercenaries. Jackie Wells, the legend himself, had his dream and succeeded after dying during the heist. There are many more mercenaries who have the same idea, but if all of Night City had the same dreams and story, it wouldn't be interesting. Which is why some of the best stories of Night City are those that experience something different. I never expected to care about a sentient car as much as I did when I did the Delamain side quest. Delamain is an AI taxi service that has helped V throughout their story in Night City, but once you actually get a side quest from the AI telling you to find the vehicles that have deviated and gone rogue, you wonder what went wrong. You find out that they've gone sentient and don't want to be taxi drivers anymore. We have the raging car, the homage to GLaDOS from Portal, and a depressed car. It's like a Black Mirror episode questioning the decision of moving so far forward with AI that they might forget that they are machines and believe they have feelings, and brings forth a strong moral dilemma of whether you should listen to the big Delamain who wants to rid them of their personalities to rejoin the system again, or let them go free. But maybe literally speaking they are just machines, but once something doesn't want to die, it won't go down easy. That was a paraphrased quote from Handler Walter from Armored Core 6. There's also the story of Johnny Silverhand during the Arasaka headquarters bombing in the universe's 2023. Johnny and his team had decided to plant a bomb in Arasaka Tower to end the Fourth Corporate War, which quite literally makes them terrorists, but with their intentions clear, it would be the mission of a lifetime and surely would make them legends of Night City. But Johnny didn't just have that in mind. He also used the opportunity to find Alt Cunningham's consciousness, who was a person he cared about deeply, and I think that's what he actually did within Arasaka, trying to liberate her from the Black Wall, which is this huge cyberspace thing. Yeah. And this goes back to the two earlier points I've mentioned, trust and having someone. Johnny kept this plan secret from the others on his team in order to help someone he cared for. Although Johnny survived the events thanks to his engram getting planted into the relic, it's a sad story that shows both how much the megacorps have destroyed basic human relations in this world, yet at the same time, how they can thrive. There are still many more stories of Cyberpunk, like the Voodoo Boys and their mission to cross the Black Wall, or Lucy wanting to go to the moon with David someday, but arguably, the best story you can experience in Night City is through V. Your own journey, the characters you choose to befriend and get close with, the gigs you choose to take up on, and even what you decide to do during the missions have outcomes on your experience in Night City. So even if there are multiple endings to Cyberpunk, from bittersweet to depressing, one thing is for certain, and it is that story will be remembered by someone out there, which might be you. I'm still not sure whether this whole video makes sense or not. Like I mentioned right at the start of the video, Cyberpunk 2077 and its world entered my life at a time when I needed some motivation, I guess. Something to help me push me forward, and I don't know, it just clicked with me that much. It was very inspirational to see like people not giving up and always trying to move forward, so that's what I took away from this that's what I took away from Night City. The idea of just not giving up, not letting the world push you down, but just keep moving forward and keep chasing your dreams and trying to make the best out of life, or the best out of the cards that life deals you. Night City is a special place, from the people and their stories to the views, and an eye-opener for some of the struggles they face. But it isn't called the City of Dreams for no reason, because dreams are what keep us going forward in life, and the least we can do is try. I want to thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video, and I don't really have anything else to say than I hope you enjoyed the video, and I highly recommend you play Cyberpunk 2077 and watch Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Both these two are phenomenal pieces of media that, depending on when you view them or how you decide to play them, can have like a deep message in your life, or I don't know, resonate well with you. Although the game was pretty bugged at launch, it is still undeniable that the base and the skeleton of Cyberpunk, in my opinion, from when I've played it on my PlayStation 4 in 2022, that it is a really good game, and I highly recommend you to play it. That's all from me. Have a good rest of your day, night, and week, and with that, Storm out.